I had all this working a few minutes ago. I don't know what happened. OBS is acting odd. I think I need to uninstall and reinstall it. Let's get this going, though. Honey? You get that tab playing? Cool. Okay. It did not work. Okay. Well, let's waste some time going this way. Whee! Do, 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 do. Alright, so unfortunately, this can be pretty much what you see until daytime. Next daytime. I need a little over 100 hearts. It's actually what I need is 200 hearts. 100 for this first town, 100 for the next town. And then I'm pretty much spent for a while. Hey honey, he's climbing up on that chair again.
Yeah.
I can see him at the corner of my eye. He was doing that earlier. Dun, 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 dun. It's about to be nighttime. Smooth transition. Hey bro, you walk right past me. Yeah, I know what I start with. I don't have enough for what I need before I leave, so doing bulk purchases in one go. I'm gonna sit here and grind up some experience. Yeah, what a horrible night to have a curse. I'm gonna grind up some experience and some monies. Because apparently carrying around a bloody bag of hearts is how you pay everybody in this world. Ah! You got me! Woofy woofy woofs! What? Done. I'm just gonna sit here and do this until it goes. Ah. Yeah, that's got me good enough for this town. And then, because there's no point in taking extra swings, they're worth the same half a heart. I can grind them a lot faster here. And this is actually where I'm going to be staying until daytime. Now, the world record runner, what he does as soon as he starts, he drops through the floor. I haven't figured out how to do that yet consistently. I've only been able to do it maybe 3 times. Hey, look, a level up! And he goes to the left, fights those weird lizard things that shoot fireballs for maybe a minute, and gets enough hearts, and comes in here and makes both his purchases, That moves on to the next part of the game. I haven't figured out the timing for fighting those things yet, so this is what we do in the meantime. Oh, look, it's daytime. Smooth transition. I sell holy water. It's very potent. Are you interested? Would you like to buy a white crystal? It has untold mystic powers. Yeah, I'll take it. Whee! How much money I got? 128. Oh, and I can afford my next whip if I can make it to town in time. Ah! Stop jumping! Bad wolfins. The woman will get you with his razor. I'll take it. No, I won't. Whee! Oh! Oh! Almost got hit by him again. That would have been terrible. Is this the knife? I think this is the knife. I don't need the knife. Some daggers for sale! Nah, I'm good, bro. That's right. First ever a while in the name of Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Yeah, I had a mod patched into the game that gave smooth day-night transitions and retranslated the whole thing to a direct translation from the original with none of the censoring, you know, that the Westerners like to do because they're a bunch of butts. Chain weapon is worth its price. Are you interested? Oh, it's 150. I thought it was 125. Oh, I'm effed because it's gonna be nighttime in a moment. How much do I have? 140. Ooh, I might be able to pull that out. Get it? Oh God. Nope, not gonna pull this out. I got the monies, but can I make the jumps? Run, 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 run. Make it indoors. All I have to do is make it indoors. So close, so close, so close, so close. Yes! Da-da-da-da. Woo. No, 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 do the thing. Oh my Mia. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Dew, dew, dew. I'll try and make it to the church. I doubt I will. Nice shiny whip, though. Oh, I did make it to the church. It's another thing. They added the drop off the stairs function, which is freaking awesome. Can't land on the stairs like in, what, Super Castlevania 4? But I can still do everything else. Ow! I've seen the fire! I have the fire! Sorry, Robert Williams, I have to whack the bats. Fire effing useless. You're effing useless. Oh! Bless. I died! Oh. Okay, that's right. Enemies here take an astounding 3 hits. Oh, is he okay? Did he lose his balance? Days the guy's got zombied. All banners, most of the special weapons are useless except the holy water. Oh, go back to that. There we go. Garlic, don't forget garlic. Laurels aren't weapons. They are useful items, though. Oh, the sun did it. Nice. Is that a sparkling, shiny white crystal? I want it. You can have my blue sapphire instead. Hell yeah. Speaking of being awesome. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Come here. Come here.
Did you buy some of my laurels? No. I do not buy laurels. What am I at? 96 experience. I'm 54 away from a level up. And I need garlic. Whee! this house? Or is this that annoying freaking fortune teller guy that's like, you're a bastard! Yeah! How dare you exist? What am I doing? Strub off the stairs. Oh, god damn you. Dun, 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 dun. Was it this one? Ugh. Make me have to go all the way over here. Garlic! Get the best quality garlic here while supplies last! Almost walked right off into the freaking pit. The Watsters. Please take this silver knife. It may save your life someday. Cool blimey, don't mind if I do, governor. Jesus, in the daytime they take 2 hits. There we go. That's one of 2 garlics that I purchase. Well, 1 garlic purchase. One of 2 garlics that I use in the game.
A garlic?
Yes, I bought a garlic. It summoned a salesman in the graveyard. And it wasn't even a salesman, he gave me his toy. He's like, here, take this sticker, and handed me a silver dagger.
Really? It's your rice.
I absolutely do not. It might be a moment before I have a chance to actually eat that.
What do you think now, by the way?
Is he?
Yep.
Whee! Do 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 do. Where am I exactly? I am at Rover Mansion out in the middle of the lake. Ow! Holy crap, his fire hurts? Oh, that was the fire from his bone that he threw at me. That sick fucker. Wait a second. You know what? No, it's this way. Right? 92 hearts. 109 experience. Hell yeah. That's right. I go up here. Yeah, it says it right there at the bottom of the map. It's a retranslated copy of the Japanese ROM. It added all the features that were pulled out for the American copy, because apparently they couldn't fit it on the cartridge. Because this is a disk system game, not a Famicom. Oh, you know what? That's the item. Down was the place for the steak. That's cool. I got this. Ow. Would you like to buy it? Would you like to invest in an oak steak? Of course I would. Oh no! missed my jump. That's been a minute. Oh, running! That wasn't included in the Castlevania collection. Nope. Hey, look, there's that lake that I just fell under. Let's get in here. Da-da-da. I now possess Dracula's heart. Oh, look, it fixed that translation too. I no longer possess things. How much do I have? 78? About to level up. Castle change version of C-Lab 2021. Oops, fart in the neck. Dart in the neck. Okay. That made a lot more sense the second time around. Would you like to invest in an oak steak? Of course. So close to a level up, I'm about to die. Whee! I did not die! Yay! Dracula's heart will destroy certain curse. Hey, look. I have a clue. I have a single clue. It even counts them now. Not that I ever actually really collect these things. I generally just go through the game. I already know what I'm doing, guys. Ugh. Yeah, level up! Hold on. There we go. And that is how we do this. Go. Just gonna keep going. No need to be alarmed. Don't worry, there's nothing to see here, folks. Oh, son of a stupid spider. Hey, buddy. How'd you get mom's headset? You can't have that. Oh. Oh, what you can do is come up here, watch Daddy play. Do. Let's do this again. Do. Oh, you know what? This isn't even the way up. This is the way out. I'm not trying to get to the faster way out. Ike, you can get him. He was trying to get to the laptop and had your headset. Do. He is not sitting still enough.
I got stuff on one hand.
In the middle of playing a game, I couldn't just, stop what I was doing.
Are you ready? No fall. Ah! Wow! That's crazy. No.
Unfortunately, looks like I'm about to get my first game over. Doom. Oh, that's how that works. Alright, I want to test with that in a moment. I now possess Dracula's rib! It's my favorite piece of daddy. Wait, it's not daddy in this game. Stop getting distracted. Da. Anyways, that. Oh, I can reread them. That's cool. That is neat. Would you like to invest in an oak steak? Honey?
What? He's climbing on your chair.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. No, you can't have that one. You can have this.
You turn your laptop around.
Me?
Yes, you. Because he's going to be going for the chords next. The crap is with the water down there being all glitched. Yeah. Yeah. Wonder if I'll make it back to town. I mean, I only got one hit. Doesn't even matter what size enemy hits me. That's absolutely right, bud. Jump, swing. Jump, swing. Swing. Swing, jump. Survive. I missed my swing and dive. Number of continues used. Nice. Oh, that sucks. I lost my money, but whatever. I don't have to go back to town at least.
You can play with the victory.
Do. Snap, you jumped right into me. Da 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 da. This is terrible because the world record holder would already be like on his way to Dracula's castle. It's crazy. Oh, whoa. It's crazy how good that dude is. Stupid kitty.
Where are you going? Down there on the back, going to get you.
Well, that's a lot faster now. I need to go all the way up to 200. Do. That was a waste. Oh my god, stop doing the thing. Give me the thing. Da. Oh, no, gimme! Oh my god, you know what? I missed it. That was terrible.
Woo!
Just gonna get that soda too. Woo! 69 experience. Nice. Dun. Let me take you to where you must go. Dun. That's actually the return route. I don't know why I'm going that way. Damn, get that guy. Alright, I just need 100 experience. 104 to be fair, but... Ow! Stop stabbing me with shit! Oh. Hell, man. My timing sucks on those slimes. Did you get stuck again? Oh yeah, this is the game they added the auto attack if you're on stairs. Oh, I found it. This is the grind spot, right? Yep, 114. I'll have plenty of money when I get out of here. Even ever after purchasing an oak steak. There's a better one further up. No, this one's pretty good. Get two skeletons relatively closely spawned. I know there's a spot near the top of this place that will sometimes spawn two skeletons on one side, but it's inconsistent, and the walk to go back and forth, if it doesn't double spawn them, is much further. Granted, there's no day and night cycle when I'm inside the mansion, so, you know, there's that. Alright. Did they remove the freaking money cap? I think they removed the money cap. Pretty sure 256 is supposed to be the max experience you can get, and that is well over that. Or max money you can get. There's a room up to the right in the next screen where two gargoyles will drop big hearts. Yeah. I'm not messing with gargoyles when they take more than one hit. $304. No, the max was always somewhere around 250. That was the most you ever needed to spend, so that's what they set the max as. There was a bit limit with the 8-bit. It was only could go a little over 250. That's why on Metroid, when you got 255 missiles, if you picked up a missile pack, it would reset your missiles back to 200, just to keep the game from crashing. There we go. I've leveled up. Do I get experience anymore? I do not. I have over 300 monies. Yeah. That patch I installed for the translation and all the quality of life improvements increased my max monies.
No.
Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Nope. I will take the money though. 350.
No. Caterpillar's gonna get you. No.
356. Yeah, if you were talking about this room, this is a terrible spot to be fighting enemies. And then just because I collected one, I'm gonna go ahead and grab another one. Press Ruby against Deborah Cliff, kneel, and wait for a whirlwind. Oh yeah, that's a much better translation than bang your head against the wall. For real, that's what it used to say. I threw my oak stake? Oh, that's terrible. You know what? When I fight Camilla, I will try it there, because that's basically the same room. There we go. I've obtained the golden knife. That's so messed up, so upsetting. I have to go back and get another oak stake. I was doing so good on time for that. Camilla used the golden knife. Yeah, I know. Use the fire on death. Actually, use holy water on death. If you can get it pixel perfect, you can one-shot it. I've seen it happen. I've never pulled it off. I have one-shotted, like, the dark skeletons. What they would call Wraith Knights in the original Dragon Warrior. Crap. Come on. Would you like to invest in the oak stake? Yes. Hello, Death. Now possess Dracula's eyeball. Probably the easiest death fight in the entire Castlevania series right there, too. Running. Jumping. Going up again. Gonna buy another oak stake on my way out. Yep. Oh, button pushes are so crummy. Would you like to invest in an oak stake? Yes. Alright, now, who wants to see a trick? Without all the screaming. Check this out. Oh, I messed it up. Let's try that one more time. Oops. Jump. 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 Nope. Jump. Jump.
Yeah.
Now, this used to be a lot easier on the Nintendo. Oh, you're kidding. Okay, well, on vanilla game, you can phase right through that floor, and it's just not letting me do it. That's how you avoid that damage. Pretty sure I can still do it. It's just not letting me. Alright, fine. Be that way. Alright, that's actually bad. There we go. Did you get the clue there? Yeah, I got the clue there. Not that I need it. I would like to give you this giant diamond. Oh, okay. So, I went the wrong way. This was an optional item. I usually don't collect. I went through all this danger for no reason. Ow. Stupid bird. Alright, let's see if I can make my jumps back. There we go. Na 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 na. That's right. Well, that sucks because Velasco Mosh. Where am I right now? Ram's Mansion. Where am I now? Dead River still? Where am I now? I'm the other side of the Dead River. I got my butt handed to me. What's the name of this? This is Alda. Saddam Woods. Ondul. Savoy Cemetery. I think this is a town that I just passed through, right? Hey! I don't need all that yelling. Or is this where I'm supposed to get the red crystal? I can't freaking remember right now. I think I actually have to hang out here. It sucks. Made a good experience, so I might as well. Not even a church in this town, so I don't know why I would, though. I just really don't want to have to come back here if I overstay. Oh, there was a church here. Yeah, see, I got the clue. And we got the diamond watch. See, 331. Did that just glitch in the doorway? It did. Nice. Ha, nice. Wow. All right, little guy. Da 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 da. How much time? 4:30. Oof. It's already been 4 days. Yep, there he is. Is that a blue sapphire? I have always wanted one. Let's swap. You can have my red ruby instead. Boom, done. That's all I needed here. And I was like an hour late for the daytime. Dude went home and didn't even want to hang out. Da da da. Are you sure, buddy? Crap. Oh, you know what? I bet the store I need is all the way up at the top of this town. Dun, 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 dun. Yep, here it is. Sell me a new pew pew thing. This is the Morning Star. Its tip has a spiky steel ball. Woo, woo. 1 hour in, and I've got 3 of the 5 Vladdy relics. I don't care about you, dude. Still trying to eat dinner. Delicious. Oops. I messed that up. That was terrible. I should have not done that. I will give your Morning Star the power to burn away evil. Boom. Strongest weapon in the game. Unfortunately, you do have to have the Morning Star in order to get it. Don't know how that little fire demon guy takes damage from a fire whip, but I'm not going to argue. I mean, this is the land where vampires are real, so... Oh! I jumped right into that. Strongest whip of the game, still takes 2 hits at night. Almost there. Come on, keep going. About to make it. Gonna make it. Gonna make it. Gonna make it. Yeah, Steve Martin, you're not the only one who can do it. This will be the last oak steak I gotta buy. Don't cry, it's a good thing. Don't know why I went up that way, it's just fun. Woo! I just fell off the stairs dead! Oh, that's great! Run! Oh. Negatron, howdy dog, how's it going, Negatron? I am playing a modded Castlevania II. It has several quality of life improvements, including a fluid day-night cycle. I don't know why I came up here. It doesn't stop and do a text message and then load out and then load back in. It just transitions. There we go. They increased my... I just recently game over, but they increased my maximum hearts from there we go. From 256 to I don't even know what, because I just had 300 something before I game over. Dude, stop hitting me with... There we go. Please have these laurels. God bless you. Please have these laurels. Nice. Otherwise, same old game though. Yes. It's retranslated. A whole bunch of terrible translation. It didn't censor in any way anything. Dope sounds easy. Or sounds sassy. Indeed. You know what? I'm not even messing with you yet. I'm coming back for you, Camilla. I'm an hour and 5 minutes in. I have 4 of the 5 relics. Missed. Oh.
You ready to go up again? Ready? We're gonna do it from this way.
There we go. Obtained a rosary. Nice. I have the item that now unlocks Dracula's castle. And I am one item away from heading my way over to Lad's castle, doing the thing that I gotta do. Gotta save myself from the curse so that my bloodline can continue on in Castlevania 3. I mean, physically he can. Dude. There we go. Wow! Oh yeah, I can drop off the stairs also. That's another quality of life improvement that they added. That saves so much time. Ugh. All right. Time to head back. That's more than enough saved hit points. Making it work. Oh. Okay. For whatever logic, fire demons are weak to the fire whip. Everything's weak to the fire whip. My infant is just being a complete butt right now. He's tired, but he doesn't want to go to sleep, so... Oof. Almost bit it there. So close.
I know it, man. It's rough. It's rough. And we're okay. But we're gonna get this together. And it's only fun if you're passing. Yeah, woman.
To be fair, normal whip hurt demon? Hurt normal demon. Okay. Wait. Skip trick. There we go. If you can time your whip just right, you can get 3 blocks high on your jump, by the way. LOL! And here we are. Boom. Nighttime one-shot enemies. I skipped this one for the sole purpose of getting it on the way back. This is the very last oak stake that I will be purchasing. I skipped the last one because it's a hassle to find. This one is right before the item. Sci-hoop! Thank you, NES! Oh god, don't hit me with that. Slime almost go. Slime almost got me. That routing though. Oh! I jumped too early and hit the hole. And I did it again. Yeah. That's it. Thank you, slime. Go for it. Feel free to clip your favorite parts, guys. Whee! Ugh! Turn around, dude. We know you're dumb as rocks, but Jesus, there's no reason to show off it. Show it off? I swear, words are easy. This is what I do. I talks to people. Okay. Words, right? Do I have the bunnies? I do have the monies. Here, I have I have a sack of bloody hearts. Would you sell me something for some of these? I swear they're tasty. Yee. Fudger? Oh. You know what? Is there a clue here? There's not. Yeah, and now I have his ring. That's all the Vladdy relics. You guys are gonna see a what time? How long have I been playing? Hour and 12 minutes. You're gonna see a sub hour 30. Nice. And that's with 2 game overs under my belt. About to be another one. Whoa. Crap. Blech. What level am I? Level 3, and I'm gonna fight Dracula. Jesus. See? Fluid transition to daytime. I think this is the last church in the game, or is it the next town has the last church in the game? Nope, it's this one. I'll go ahead and take my heal, since I made it here at daytime. Rest here for a while, in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, Amen! And that's where I would buy garlic if I needed garlic. Crap. Broke my stride on that. Oh, you were supposed to knock me the other way. Yeah, that dropping off the stairs is amazing. Ooh, that is so awesome. Final town in the game. Oh yeah, check this out. I have a map. Not that it matters. Let's see. That's Deborah Cliff, Bethany Mansion, Town of Yumi. Oh. Final town that has people, I think? I don't know. I don't even know what's going on anymore. Yep. And this is the drawbridge. And look, it's not crumbling. Do I have garlic? I have 1 garlic and 2 laurels. Normally, when you summon Dracula, it takes those away. Unless you have the laurel bag, the silk bag, and happen to have grinded up enough money to purchase 8 garlic. Otherwise, the game takes them away from you when you summon Dracula. Oh, okay. I guess this is it. Yep, see, they took my garlic away. Fudging bastards. And that was it. Blech. Game. Hour and 17 minutes. Nice. Ugh. So that was. It's been a good couple of months since I've beaten this game. Always the first try. I didn't realize. I didn't realize I was so low on hearts. That actually could have been a little more difficult. There is a trick for one-shotting him after he fully spawns. World record guy actually did that trick. You use holy water, and it's like a pixel perfect hit. You have to hit the pixel where it just touches the first pixel of Dracula and hits the ground at the exact same time. And it will one-shot enemies every time, including Death and Dracula. It's just, I can't pull that off on the fly. I've only ever done it 2 or 3 times on accident to regular enemies. Toast to the victory! Oh, you know what? I wish I had something to toast with. Achieved in 5 days, and that's, again, because having to spend an extra half a day grinding because of that first game over.